Good evening, folks. Red County, Blue Nation. Stephen Rorick, Jim McMahon, Westcliff, Colorado, County of Custer, Rocky Mountain High, baby. Seem to keep having some issues with our audio here. Who the hell is that? I can't see who that is, can you? Anyhow, folks, so, yep, we're,
Who is it?
Jesse, happy Thanksgiving, brother.
oh, what's up, brother? We're live on the podcast.
We're live on the pod.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Cool. Good to see him. I'm glad he's back. Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. Slight interruption there. We're kind of, somebody came by and gave us a happy Thanksgiving. Little distraction there. So, yep. Having a little technical difficulties here. Hopefully we're back live. Our little town doesn't have the best network connections at times. But we do what we can do.
Absolutely.
As irritating as it is, I mean, the guy's got two choices: push on or give up. And so I guess you only got one choice, and that's
Push on.
try not to get too upset with it.
Exactly. Nope. Relaxed attitude and maintain the course.
Yeah, we got some squash here to celebrate Thanksgiving. These are squash that I grew. Got the acorn, butternut, blue Hubbard, Delica, and spaghetti. Figured it would be fitting.
All organic.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. So the nutritional value in these grown them the way you grew them compared to commercially grown where they've depleted the soil. One thing we're going to talk about one of these podcasts is how the value of food's going to be valued with the nutritional value as opposed to shelf life and how good it looks.
Yeah, that spaghetti squash down there, that son of a gun, no salt, no butter, no nothing. It tastes like you poured sugar on it.
Yeah. Yeah, the butternut that Matt had was the same thing. Super, he was just unbelievable. Very complete.
Yeah, a friend of ours, we gave him one of these, and he went to the store to get a couple more. He liked it so much, and he said they wasn't even fit to eat.
Yeah, once you have the good stuff, it's hard to. Yeah, and the grass-fed beef or even homegrown meat, a lot better. Beef-wise, chicken-wise, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff in this world that's geared at shortening our lifespan and taking our resources and putting it in their pocket. And I argue with it a lot with a lot of different people, and I'm kind of tired of arguing. I mean, I don't care if you want to eat it out of a box. Don't blame me or don't whine to me when you go to the doctor and they can't figure out what's wrong with you, and then you're dead.
Yeah, and it's rampant right now. I mean, the food is built for shelf life and monetary gain as opposed to...
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's actually it's a lot more sinister than that you don't understand. I mean, a lot of these chemicals that they use, I mean, it takes a large amount of what we call diesel fuel and hydraulics to make all that happen, but that's not, diesel fuel and hydraulics is not the corruption. The corruption is, it's the chemicals that they have to use. A lot of these chemicals, they don't have to use them. There's other chemicals that work just as good, but aren't nearly as toxic. But the FDA, I mean, you can look at it however you want, but at what point do you quit swallowing the crap? right?
Some of it's intentional.
It is all intentional.
Yeah, there you go.
The EPA and the USDA and everything they're doing is intentional. They're the ones that are controlling it. So if you didn't do it on purpose, then what are you doing? I mean, let's face the facts, folks. I mean, there's no use cutting them a break anymore. They're doing it on purpose. And if you can't see that, obviously you're either, like I said earlier, you're either part of it or you're not looking close enough. Most of the time, I mean, I don't want to categorize anybody, and we're trying not to get negative, even though it's tough. I mean, it's tough fighting through all the barriers that we have to fight through, just to be just. Since when was doing the right thing so hard? It's ridiculous, man. I mean, I've had a lot tough last few days. It's just like, I mean, it's monumental to do the stuff that should be easy. And I'm just like, man, why do we have to face so much opposition to do the right thing?
Yeah, it shouldn't be so laborious. It should be sweet.
It should be easy. Doing the right thing should always be easier than doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But enough whining and crying about it. I mean, it is what it is, but
It's Happy Thanksgiving right now.
happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope everyone has a blessed Thanksgiving. I mean, there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot of chaos in this world that's, we were talking earlier before we got cut off about the Helene hurricane victims, and boy, I have a sore spot, sick spot in my stomach. I mean, I'm sick to my stomach over how them people are treated. Over what? Because the powers that be want to try to take over some lithium mine and they can't take it over by eminent domain, so they have to drive them people out? I mean, once again, if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, you better do some more research for yourself. Because I've done the research. I know what's up. And I only have so much time and I only have so much effort that I can put forward and try to explain to everyone. And so hopefully you understand that I've come from an ethical and a moral standpoint, and that everything that I'm talking about, I believe in wholeheartedly. And I've done the research on my own. And if you don't agree, I don't care. I really don't. It's a free country still, whether you think it is or not. And so, like I said, I'm a little on edge, and I really don't care what anybody thinks. You ain't paying my bills. You ain't doing my work. You ain't doing anything for me out there, folks, right? Everything I got, I earned. So pretty hard for me to... I'm surely not indebted to anyone or anybody pulling my strings. I don't have to worry about what's going on at the county courthouse to pay my salary.
Yeah, but you might think about the future and how the government's growing and how it's here. It looks like we're getting more and more government, more top heavy. We're going to have higher taxes. It sounds like the insurance for the county could go up as high as $100,000 this year.
Well, and let's touch on that. We weren't planning on touching on that, but you know a little bit more than I do. Jimmy, let's just go ahead and dump this out in the open, folks. If you don't understand what we're talking about, I mean, this is all, it's public information, and if you want to see about it, you can. I mean, all you got to do is dig a little bit, but a few years ago, they tased a 16-year-old girl in the back of a police car. And why the administration that was administering that, why they ain't in a hell of a hurt, I have no idea. But what are two grown men doing tasing a 16-year-old female? I mean, this is not a trans female that's got a you-know-what downstairs that, or doped up to some extent where they're going to... I mean, these are grown, trained officers that should be able to take down anybody that comes their way, and they're going to tase a 16-year-old girl in the back of a police car because she won't do what they want them to do.
Yeah, it just completely unacceptable behavior in my eyes. And here again, the particulars on all of this.
Like if it ain't unacceptable in your eyes, then obviously your eyes ain't very good, folks. At what point does a trained police officer tase a 16-year-old girl in the back of a car that's handcuffed? Man! And so now our insurance is looking at going up $100,000 because we have this huge lawsuit, as we should. And why them people aren't incriminated is beyond me. But the whole administration's long gone. They're gone. Oh hell, we're gone.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I think there's going to be, we'll be able to shed a little deeper light on that once everything comes out a little bit better. We'll have a little more time to put it all together. And we want to expose it. And that's the things, the examples that we want to show people.
Yeah, part of what was going on is supposedly this young 16-year-old girl was at a trailer with older males. And I'm not real sure how they got called, but why they took the juvenile into custody instead of the men at the trailer and ended up tasing her. I mean, that's... You talk about derelict and neglected duty and dysfunctional and every dang word you can think of that doesn't fit with the way things are supposed to be. It's ridiculous.
Tase them too. Call human resources, get a woman out there to grab the little child. The underage girl. Men should just stayed out of it. They should have arrested them 2 men for harboring a little minor. That whole thing was ugly to me. I mean, I ain't no trained professional officer, but if you got a little bit of golden rule about you, you ought to know how to conduct yourself.
Well, and she was handcuffed in the car and you're still going to tase her? Maybe it just shows to go you about, and I'm not trying to get on the current administration or a lot of my friends are law enforcement officials, but then you wonder why people want to defund the police. Part of what they do is unjust and uncalled for. You're a grown man and going to tase a girl in handcuffs that's 16 years old.
Now, she was not just a little petite 16-year-old. She had some weight about her, but that's okay. It's the same thing. Okay? Same thing.
She wasn't trained in how to take people down.
No. No. So anyways, there's here again raising up a standard of behavior in a small county. We're coming into our own here. We've got a good sheriff, I believe now.
Let's face the facts. We went down in the gutter and we ain't anywhere where we should or need to be. Ain't even close. It's embarrassing.
Well, and what it causes too is when you have behavior like that, it's a ripple effect. So now the insurance company has to write a check to settle. So the insurance company says, well, we're going to charge you more money. You cost us more money. We're going to charge you more money. As the taxpayer, a lot of people think, oh, they're just charging the county. No. We are the county.
Yeah, where's that money come from?
We are the county. That's our money. So the fiduciary responsibility and looking out for us in all aspects, it's not happening. We are very, very inadequate in our decision making, hiring people. I mean, you can't take somebody out of Hunger Buster and throw them into the HR and finance department with a $40,000 or $60,000 double entry software bookkeeping deal where it would take somebody 10 or 12 years that has experience to be able to adapt to that. And it would probably be a little challenging for them. So there's some asinine decisions.
That's back to who bought that software in the first place.
Well, there you go. There is a name on the contract.
Tom Flower. Let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and get ourselves so far off in deep water that we can never get back. That's basically where we're at this point, folks. I mean, and I know most people don't care. Your life is so good that you don't care what's going on around you. And I get it, because I'm there too. But for some reason, I have a duty inside my heart to try to explain this, because it isn't okay with me. I mean, would I rather be concentrating on my own stuff? I sure would.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff that I'm neglect to be here to try to explain to you folks what's happening right in front of your face. They're wasting your money, they're wasting your resources, and they're lying through their teeth to you.
Yeah, so there's several issues that are going to be coming up that we'll be able to have full reports on it. We'll be able to pull do the Colorado Open Records Act, so we can go in and absolutely get the facts and be able to share. We're here with Custer County and get the constituents here. Hopefully they can get involved in saying, hey.
Well, yeah, and we're not trying to get you to believe us. We don't care what you believe. That's not the thing. We're not trying to tell you anything. We're expressing enough knowledge to try to pique your curiosity so that you'll look for yourself.
Yeah, make a phone call. Go down, maybe go to the
Get on the internet. Use that internet, boy.
Yeah.
I mean, all this stuff is right there for you to see if you look hard enough. I mean, not going to tase a 16-year-old girl. Two grown men are going to tase a 16-year-old girl sitting in the cop car with handcuffs on.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things is the reason for the podcast too, is when you do go out and you're talking to a rancher, or I do a lot of plumbing, and I get around and see a lot of people here and there. And you start explaining to them some of the issues that we're going through, they're dumbfounded. They had no idea about credit cards. The lights almost got shut off. We haven't been able to account for the money.
Well, and that's back to folks. I mean, how do you all deal with your electric bill? I know how I deal with mine. They give you 2 months. They don't shut your lights off after the first month. Because I'm a one-man band, and I got a lot of irons in the fire, so sometimes I miss my initial payment, and I catch it on the next go-around. And I'm sure that's what the county does too. But so they don't have an excuse. They get paid exorbitant amounts of money to take care of our business, but you ain't taking care of business.
Well, we got a new guy coming in, so hopefully he's going to be able to do something. But we, the people, got to stand up and demand
that's
accountability.
That's what the flyover conservatives, David and Stacey White, would say. Everybody expects Trump to do it all. Trump can't do it. It needs to start with the people here. Do it for yourself. Quit expecting somebody to watch out for you, take care of you, gonna watch over you. Well, we'll take care of you. I mean, really? Is that what America is?
Well, it's we the people.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, and we the people dropped the ball.
And I'm not free from mistakes or whatever. I drop the
neither.
ball all the time, but at least I'm here, taking part of my life and my effort and my money and my space and all this stuff to try to make this happen, to explain to you folks what's going on in front of your eyes. They're robbing you blind. And it's fine.
Well, I think about the folks in these high-taxed areas. I guess Chicago, Illinois, and different places where their property tax could be $35,000-$40,000. And in California, it's the same thing.
I mean, I hate to say it, but whose fault is it?
It's theirs.
It's theirs.
Because they let
it happen.
They let it happen. And what we're trying to do is, in these red counties, in this blue nation, it's blue for a minute, it's all going to be red pretty quick. Just because of the knowledge. We need to get the knowledge of saying, oh, wait a minute. Little less government. Keep the taxes down. Don't oppress us with your taxes. I mean, that's the Tea Party was about, was oppression. And we didn't want it. So let free people be free and keep the government. I'd just soon abolish property tax. At least if you're up in your 60s or something and you've worked and, and you own your place, maybe you don't own it, but man, give them people a break. Those folks are having to sell their property, buy an RV, register it in Texas, and that's how they live. Is they live in an RV.
Once again, I can only feel so much sympathy because they put they put the noose around their own neck. Should have been paying attention.
Yeah. So those are examples of where we could be going, because we're in a blue state. It's a red county. And we don't know, and we got redistricted. Little bitty Oak County, boy, they had to redistrict us. 4,000 people?
Yeah, so we're if you don't know, we're in District 7, aren't we?
I'm not sure. I have to write stuff down.
CD 7,
I believe it's. I think so.
But so it goes from Custer County down here south all the way up and encompasses Jefferson County in Denver. So there's no way that they wanted us to have our own district because it would always be red.
Well, it's a voice, and it was Boberg's district too. And all of these counties on the outside of the I-25 corridor, they're all red. It's all red. Every rural area is all red, and then you go out in the northeast, and then you go out in the east, and the southeast. It's the I-25 corridor. That's the consolidation of the population.
In the 70 corridor.
Yeah, no, I-72. Yeah, absolutely. But that's the density of pavement people. And that's where we have to have a voice, and we've got to watch what we're doing. We don't need them coming in here and infiltrating and taking this county over. And I believe we have that going on here. I think we have that influence going on in some of the decisions that are being made.
The thing about human and human nature is everybody wants to call the shots. It's just the way that it is. And if you believe in freedom, if you truly believe in freedom, personal freedom, then I know I'm going to call my own shots, right? Like I said earlier, I don't care what anybody thinks. I make sure that I maintain myself in the balance of law, right? I don't harm other people. I don't neglect other people or whatever. But as far as somebody telling me how I'm supposed to do stuff, I mean, I'm always open to advice, right? So if you come at me and you say, hey, what about this? This seems pretty reasonable. I mean, I was making some calculations here. What do you think about this? And then I say, well, okay, but this part of the equation isn't correct, right? You have false information in there.
Yep.
You have a wrong number, or you have the right numbers. So yeah, okay, it's great. Or no, it's not going to work.
A wise man loves correction. If I'm doing something wrong, I appreciate somebody going, hey, Jimmy, hey, wait a minute. If you do it like this, you get a different outcome, a better outcome.
And that goes directly back to the finances of the county. They do not want to keep the finance straight, or they would. Now think about this real careful, folks. This is human nature, right? So if you don't want to be transparent, then obviously you must be deceptive. So if you're not transparent and you're trying to hide, it's just like a little kid that lied to his mom about getting into the candy jar. Well, I mean, moms are not dumb. They know how much candy was there. I mean, you can see the candy wrappers, and the little kid can try to lie all he wants, but everybody knows better. And that's what's going on with the county. Why do they not want to get an accountant? Because it costs too much, but you can spend $100,000 on a wood chipper? Come on, man. I mean, the clown show is getting pretty bad here. They think that we're supposed to believe this stuff? I mean...
Well, and it's a pattern of behavior. It's not like, I backed my car into a car, oopsie, we had a little accident. The pattern of behavior that's gone on here for the last 7 years is consistent. It's just absolutely consistent. But it's just a lot of different things. It's not just one. It's a accumulation of all of these things that if you start looking at between the Justice Center, the bookkeeping, how the police department was run,
Now the clinic's
insurance, and then the clinic, and I mean, it's on and on and on. And now Roads and Bridges is going to have some kind of a lot more money all of a sudden. I mean, all of a sudden, we got to have a lot more money for roads and bridges. And then we just spent $400,000 on low-income housing. Well, it was just laying there. We'll just give it to
Yeah,
them.
so instead of, yeah, and so I mean, y'all seen the headlines in the newspaper that two of the commissioners think it's the right thing to do. One of them did vote no, but you're going to give county property, taxpayer property away to a nonprofit organization. Really?
And real top-heavy in administration. That administration and the employees that are up there being paid a lot of money administering. That's the crazy.
So
Because by the time it goes through there, that $1 turns into about 5 cents.
So I got some stuff this evening, folks. Our broadcast is kind of all mismatched up because we got cut off and we'd laying it out pretty good, and all of a sudden we're off kilter here. But I was looking at one of my people that I really respect, and his name is Greg Reese, and he does what they call the Reese Report. And I was watching one on what they label as Trump and the people in Trump's cabinet and how that relates to the Israel lobby. Okay, so first of all, the chief of staff, Susie Willis, she's always there. You can't make a phone call to Trump that she's not there. She's always there. She's on top of him all the time. Okay? And then, so you got Elon and Joe Rogan saying that we need a carbon tax is going to be good. Okay. And this is, I mean, you Google Greg Reese and the Reese Report and it'll come up and you can look at all this stuff. I mean, there's video clips. They got these people on video saying this. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. I'm just relaying some news that I listen to regularly that I thought was important. To me, it's important because I don't believe in mass genocide, especially that I don't have anything to do with. Now, if you was right here on my doorstep trying to take away my freedom, would be a different story. What they're doing on the other side of the world, I don't care. It's none of my business. And if you care about it, well, that's your business. That's where, that's where we separate.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, I'm free and you're free. Today, we're still free. And so freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, freedom of life. That's what this is. Okay, so you got Elise Stefanik. Okay, she's going to be the UN ambassador. She's already got $917,000 from the Israeli lobby. Okay, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, they've already given him $1 million. This is the Israel lobby. Lee Zeldin, he's the leader of the EPA. He's got $916,000 from the Israel lobby. You got Michael Waltz, a national security advisor, gave him $238,000. You got Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. I mean, these all look like pretty good people on one side, but when you look at what they're telling you about Israel, she's saying she signed a bill to conflate criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. So basically, I mean, it's not my fight. And you can say and interpret however you want to interpret about the chosen people of the word or of the universe or of God or however you want to say it. But I want to know how come there wasn't no such thing as Israel before 1945. So you're the chosen people of God, but Israel wasn't even created before World War II. So how does that add up? Oh, that's right, it don't. Mike Huckabee, U.S. ambassador to Israel, says Palestinians don't exist. You got Jeff Radcliffe, CIA, put the foot on their neck. We should assist in exterminating Palestine. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, Zionism is an Americanism. Well, that's not the way that I feel, folks. I don't know any Palestinians and I don't know any Israelis, and quite frankly, I don't care to. All I care about is myself and right here. And so you're going to give all the people, the people in North Carolina that have been diligently paying their taxes for the last 250 years.
It's atrocious.
But we got to give that to try to exterminate somebody on the other side of the world. John Thune, whatever he, 461,000. Trump took $100 million from Mariah Edelson, a Zionist. 100 mil, the old Donald son took. Okay, Giuliani says Palestinians try to get Americans killed at 2 years old. Well, if I was a Palestinian, I might kind of feel like if you were encroaching on me like they did in Palestine. I mean, if you do your history, folks, there was no Israel before before the World War II, there wasn't. That was all Palestine. And I'm not trying to stick up for them people because I don't know them and I don't want to know. I just know that try to feed my money to go kill somebody halfway around the world, I'm not okay with that. And the problem is Judge Napolitano was listening to Giuliani and talking with Gerald Celente. And the thing is it's a manifested ideology that Trump embraces, and that they all think that Palestinians need to be destroyed with U.S. money. And that's what we were just talking about at the county level. Why are you going to use my money for something that you believe in? And I know that that's kind of the system, right? I mean, that's why we elect an official to try to represent us the best we can. But that's the crookedness of politics. Most people say whatever they can. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah, that's the deal. We don't have statesmen. We have politicians. They're ear tickling. They'll ear tickle you. And here again, it can come down to special interest. And, this is what we want to get done. I'm going to go back to the Justice Center. People have no idea how that thing is separated and divided and caused.
And that's the thing. And we got a lot more information, but we want to be careful about what we say. But the bottom line is, folks, is that we voted this down 2-1, but they are still engaged in doing the Justice Center, even though you said no.
So they were looking at some kind of $20 million albatross that was completely outlandish.
Well,
and then got the property under the guise of, we've got to buy the property. Didn't even buy it, right? Spent 4, 5, 8 times. I don't know. You know how much they spent. A lot of money. Long story short, the abuse in the procedure in a trustee position representing the taxpayer. There's a protocol that you have to follow. You can't willy-nilly obligate other money before it even comes in.
Well,
and then if somebody votes against it, if the people go, no, we don't want it. Hell, they're already halfway in. And we said no. How do you close that door back? How do you get that back? How do you stop that? You don't. We're already engaged in it. Now they're going to hold us hostage. They're going to extort us.
And that's really where we're going, folks. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm trying not to let the cat out of the bag too much. But in my opinion, it says right in the contract, I have the contract. I've read the contract. We'll post the contract on the website so everyone can look at it for themselves.
Yeah, that'd be convenient for you.
But it says right in there that any point in time they can all the county has to do is just quit paying, and then it reverts back to the people that own it. Okay, so would you rather take a $250,000 loss instead of indebting your kids' kids to pay for $18 million, an $18 million territorial prison.
Territorial prison.
So that's the whole thing, right? They have this great idea that they're going to haul all these inmates from all these counties all around and they're going to house them here. But yet, the current administration has brokered a deal with Fremont County to house our inmates for $50 a day. So at $50 a day, roughly, 10 to 15 inmates? I mean...
a year?
Well, I mean, at $50 a day times 15 inmates is $750, and that goes into 18 million. 24,000 times? Divided by 365? I mean, talking about 65 years that you're going to pay this off with. That's with no interest or anything.
Well, there's a whole bunch. We'll do a complete breakdown on the madness of it. And it really came down to, I think they had to have nurses round the clock to administer them. And then they had some fire system that they had to update. There's a lot of updating and mandates. It's a mandate that came down. It's a suggestion saying,
well, and that's one of the things that we're really digging into, because we don't know all there is to know. All we know is that it's shady the way that they're going about it. If it was truly transparent, they would say, no, this is why we need this. And there's none of that on the table. There's nothing out there saying this is why we need the Justice Center. That's back to what we were talking about initially. If there's no transparency, then there must be hiding something, because if they didn't have nothing to hide, they wouldn't hide it.
well, it's not up right now and open. And really looking at it and digesting it, it was kind of just, we got to have it, and this is, and it really wasn't debated. And we didn't look at it.
It wasn't debated at all. They never asked anybody. One person said this is a good idea, and the commissioners followed suit, and now all of a sudden we're in a hell of a hole.
They had the sheriff and the judge. I was at the pizza place when they give a little bit of spiel on it, and there was a lot of public outcry, saying no.
And there's still a public outcry. You take it to the voting booth and it gets voted down 2-1, but you're still doing it. Looks to me like the train's about to fly off the tracks here, folks. Either that or I'm going to take a D8 and go through the tracks.
So that's one of the goofy things too, with that the Republican party up here, outside of the elected officials. We have the Republican group of people that represent and are active in a lot of different committees and trying to get things done. We have just a handful of them people. And man, they're like that. They don't want anybody in that group.
No,
they don't want anybody in that. They don't want anybody in that. They don't want anybody shaking that thing up.
And that's back to where I started. If it was transparent and clean, they would say, no, this is why we need this. So there's definitely ulterior motives, or they wouldn't be trying to keep it hidden. Same way with the county of finance. Why won't you tell us what's going on? Don't tell us that you're too stupid to figure it out, but we're still paying your ass.
Well, that's what's irritating, because they have a duty to not waste the taxpayers' money. Now, people go, well, they just hired somebody that couldn't do the job. Well, they're wasting somebody's money. They're wasting our money. It's not their personal business. It's our business.
And it's not only that you're wasting our money, but you're talking about indebting our kids and our kids' kids.
Right. Even on the county deal. We're going to have, and those are the things we need to be looking at right now as Custer County. Before this thing really gets out of hand, and the next thing we do is we wake up and the government's so big and our taxes are so exorbitant. And the oppression and all of that is on us. That's why this country was built.
Also, a few people can line their pockets. That's what it boils down to. It's all about the money. If it wasn't about the money, they wouldn't be doing it. They ain't doing it out of the goodness of their heart, because if they were, they would tell you why they're doing it. But they don't. They don't tell you anything. They want to keep it hidden because they know it's deceptive. They know it's deceptive.
Well, and that's the deal. So here again, you get into an ethical behavior. Then you got to start looking at statutes. You have to look at the statutes, and you got to apply the statutes to their behavior. And that's kind of where we're at now, is we're applying the statutes to the repetitive pattern of behavior that's been taking place, that's got us to the point now where they can't hide nothing. There is no hiding it.
They're still trying though.
Oh no, it's like a cat turd up there, and they got one grain of sand, and they're trying to figure out how to cover her up.
Well, yeah, they're like, yeah, let's burn all the documents that we've been saving.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We don't need them no more. Just go ahead and shovel them out.
Yeah, there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Just like what happened when they hit the wing at the Department of Justice with 9/11.
Whoopsie.
All the documents that showed however many 26 trillion or 23 trillion dollars has been gone. Well, it's gone now.
Don't know where that went.
Boom. Blowed her up. Anyhow, folks, that's enough ranting and raving. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. We have a little gun stuff that we're going to come back after the break here with, and you know, I'm sympathetic to everyone that feels like I might be too brash. I mean, I'm not trying to be brash here, but it is the truth, and it upsets me because we could do so good. It could be so great. And that's what we need to strive for. We need to be thankful. It's Thanksgiving, so
make Custer County great again.
you got the old Hubbard squash they say is impossible to grow in Custer County, but with my farming techniques, I was able to coax these out of the ground.
Yeah, absolutely hit it right. And you had a good year.
Yeah, good year.
Damn good year. I mean, it was a really, the weather was
had
pretty good.
Extended growing season is what did
absolutely.
It for us, so.
But it also had to do with how you amended it, the drip irrigation, the black grow cloth, stuff like that to keep the weeds down. It also warms up the soil, makes things happen. Yeah, a lot of techniques. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, obviously, folks, the proof's in the pudding. If we didn't know what we was doing, we wouldn't be sitting in here in front of our bounty. Yeah. My whole back room's full of these squash. I got more squash here than...
You probably had, I don't know, that trailer was full.
It was at least a ton.
Imagine you had at least 2,000 pounds. So that way you could bet on that.
At least.
You could bet on that.
So anyhow, folks, we'll be back here after our short intermission, kind of get our little... get our guns set up here, and we'll see you after this break. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, folks, we're back here. This is our 300 Norma improved 215 gun. Got the Proof Research barrel. Pretty sure that's Macmillan stock. Not exactly for sure. This is a bat action. Trigger Tech trigger, Night Force scope. So what I wanted to go over, I know that we said we were going to go over the optics and the bullets, but one thing that I wanted to kind of let everybody see, you know, being it's Thanksgiving and all that, we thought we would kind of go with some of the cool stuff. So this is the system here that you use that kind of has taken the place for a two-man sniper team and turned it into a one-man team. So what we have here, so this would be a mil dot, minute of angle, scope, whatever you're burst in, right? I mean, either mil dot or MOA, right? I mean, that's just kind of the two
Systems.
Yeah, the two systems, the two trains of schooling of whatever. And so what we have here is we have these are Leica GeoVid 3200.com range finding binoculars. These things are the most awesome piece of
Invention?
I mean, they are so cool, right? So when you look through it, so these bad boys will range to 3,200 yards. And so when you look through them, right, and you identify your target, then you push the button and it'll tell you the range. Okay? And then you have this device here. This is a Kestrel ballistic calculator. And so this thing calculates wind speed, humidity, all of this stuff. So this thing is actually made to swing round and round like that, right?
Digest the environment.
Yep, get a figure on the air. And then, so this thing Bluetooths to the binoculars. So when you get these things talking to each other and you're looking through at your range, and with the ballistic calculator in this computer, this Kestrel computer, and it knows the range from the binocular, it will tell you the holdup and the cross.
The whoop and the whoop.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll basically tell you got to put, you know, for 932 yards, you need to go up whatever it is, 15 clicks. Click, 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 click. Dial that up. Hold on target. Pull the trigger. I mean, this is one of the revolutionary things of modern day gun society.
Well,
I mean,
the technology.
it's complete technology. So
It's
back
unbelievable.
back in the day, right? I mean, you had to have a spotter that could calculate the drift.
You were licking your finger.
They would range the range. You know, that's the spotter was almost more important
For the accuracy.
than the shooter.
Yeah.
Without the holdover, you don't know what you're doing, and especially if you only have one shot, right? I mean, if you're trying to get one shot off, and of course we're talking about trophy elk, right? I mean, that's what or a mule.
Right.
You know, we're talking about large game,
An exotic hunt.
world record class game that maybe you only get once in a lifetime. A friend of mine, he just went with his son. Took him 25 years to draw a tag.
Right. And it could cost you $15,000 to $25,000 to have somebody take you out and la-di-da-di-da.
Oh yeah. I mean, or more, right? So,
Or
I mean,
more. I don't
if
want to
you-
make it sound too bad.
If
but,
you got the big money to pay, then that doesn't matter.
right. But
You can just go. You can just buy the governor's tag and go shoot whatever. We're talking about
somebody that's weighted.
somebody that's weighted,
Common man.
somebody that has the inner drive to go ahead and the integrity of not just paying somebody to already know where the you know, basically public land hunting rather than private land where these big huge ranches get paid. They have some huge terrific animals, but it's monetized, right? I mean, it's almost corrupted with, and so, I mean, that's neither here nor there. You know, everybody has their own business, but what we're talking about here is these ballistic systems, these aiming systems that make it possible for.
We were just getting to the point when you spend that much time waiting, or if you travel to Africa or wherever you went, you don't want to miss. That's all I was getting at. Yep.
Yeah, and not to mention the implications if there's a bunch of illegals that, I mean, I worry. As many illegals that are in this country illegally, and a lot of them are real bad people. I mean, these are
Both of them.
they're a different breed, right? I mean, we don't have any idea how ruthless these people are. They're nothing like what Americans are, I can tell you that. But anyhow, so with this system here, you can make every shot count.
Yeah, and that's what we're getting at.
We also have this as a Muley Freak pack, right? So this pack will go on your front like this. Button up the sides. Oh, I guess I got the wrong one there. Come on, baby. I know you go in one of these slots.
There you go.
And so what we have here, right, is we just have this.
The Knox.
We have these right here at all times, right? Waterproof, or they're not waterproof, but they're weatherproof. This cover that works with a rubber band or elastic,
It's pretty tight.
Yeah, it keeps you covered because these are expensive. These things are super expensive for what they are.
They're like $50.
Yeah. I mean, this little strap's like $50, right?
Yeah.
And so you carry your Kestrel in here like this. And so you have your aiming system. You have your aiming system ready, right? You're ready. I mean, as soon as you get a target that you want to get target acquisition on, then you're right here. You can just
Open up.
whip these out, pull these out, bang, bang, bang,
Bluetooth it.
flip your thing, or flip. And a lot of times, I mean, like for me personally, when I'm in a hurry, right, I'm not going to mess with the wind meter.
Sure.
I mean, if I see a big ass elk and he's like 800 yards out, I mean, I already have a pretty good idea of my holdover.
Exactly.
Right, so bam, 800 yards. I just pick my gun up, hold up to the 800 yard mark, and bam.
Bam.
So there's multiple systems, multiple. I shouldn't say systems, but multiple uses for a single system, right? I mean, you don't need all of this stuff to use this rifle, but it just makes it much more accurate. I mean, what used to be a two-man sniper team now can be done with one.
It gives you a lot of independence and it Cadillacs it.
Yeah, and I mean, in today's world, you just might not have time. And there's a lot of training involved. I mean, when you're talking about the training to understand, I mean, that's why.
You got to go through the process.
Yeah, I mean, snipers are highly trained, and so are the spotters.
Thousands of hours.
Thousands of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Meticulous training.
very, very.
And a lot of people aren't cut out to do it.
Oh no,
There's
no.
just a handful of people that even got the right makeup.
I can't remember the gentleman's name. Was a Vietnam sniper. He was like the best, and then the very best guy was against him. And they've been following each other for days. I'll catch up with his name and we can, but they were on each other for days. And the one guy, he seen his scope looking at him, and he shot him through the scope. That's how close he was to getting shot. I mean, you're talking about 2 seconds, 1 to 2 seconds. you had a 2-second jump to save your own life. That's, I mean, I should be able to remember his name, but it's been too long.
Well, that's pretty accurate.
I mean, and that, yeah, to shoot somebody through their shoot the other sniper through their scope.
When he's shooting at you,
Yeah.
when he's lining you out.
Yeah, he's looking through his scope at you, and you happen to get to the trigger first.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that's
It's like they shoot at the OK Corral there, except you're a few yards away
yeah, 1,000 yards away or whatever.
or
So,
whatever.
anyhow, folks, yep. I mean, we're happy to share what knowledge we have. Here in the future, we're going to go through some of the ballistics, the actual ammunition components, what it takes to load hand rounds for these. Like I've said before, these I don't think that you can even buy, even if you really, really wanted to, I don't think that you can buy 300 Norma improved rounds that are loaded. There might be somebody that you can buy them from somewhere. But I mean, you ain't going to just go buy them off the shelf.
The thing is if you're familiarizing yourself with this degree of gun, you're loading your own. You want the confidence when you rack it, you have that confidence that it's you. It's all you. It's not even a little thought about, oh, somebody else loaded this. It's all you, and that's a sniper. It's all me. No one else is involved. It's just me.
Well, and I like to think that we're maybe, I don't know that advanced is the right terminology, but like a military sniper, right? They don't load their own rounds. That's what the armory does, right? So the armory, the guys that load the rounds, that's all they do.
They're consistent with that person that's been loading it.
They're a precision part of the plan.
Absolutely.
But with these systems here, we do all this ourselves. We load the cartridges. We can acquire the target. We can dope the scope, and we can pull the trigger all in one. So it's really actually super cool. Is what it is.
Yeah, the amount of technology that's in that where you can reach out. How far, Stephen, do you think a guy could reach out with this?
So this particular one, the 215, right? So it won't buck the wind as good as the 250, but that 215 bullet still has a really good ballistic coefficient. I mean, on a good day, if everything's going right, you can definitely shoot 15 to 2,000 yards with this.
So 1,500 yards, right? That's a pretty good distance.
It's a heck of a distance.
Yeah. That's 4,500 feet.
That's what, 1,700 yards is a mile, isn't it?
5,280
Feet.
is the feet.
And
Yeah.
divided by 3
Yeah.
gives you 1,700 and something.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's a long, long ways.
And so I seen a really cool video about some of the new sniper rifles that the military are using. They're beginning to use the 300 Norma, and they're using they have these systems kind of like the 338 that we were showing with the chassis, the
Yeah.
metal chassis rather than the stock,
Mm-hmm.
with interchangeable barrels, so they can go from I believe they could go from traditionally a 300 Win Mag is what most military snipers would be shooting. I mean, of course, and then when you jump up and you want to hit really long, you're going to shoot a 50. But they don't train you to shoot a 50 caliber sniper rifle. Most of the time it's 300 Win Mag. And they've kind of went through, now they've figured out that the 300 Norma, and so that article that I was watching, 300 Norma and the 338 Norma are what the new system that the military is beginning to use. So I mean, this is we've already been using this, and now
Right.
now
There
the
you go.
military's like, well, heck, maybe we will too. So I mean, this is as cutting edge as they come.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
Kind of makes you feel a little better about all the negative stuff with finances and neglect and derelictness and all of that. So, I mean, there's still there's a lot to be thankful for in this world, folks. We wish you from the top and the bottom of everything we have that you and your family have a righteous Thanksgiving and keep up the good work. There's nobody to blame but yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, if something's really bad, you have to take a good, long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and say, and don't, it's easy to pass the buck off on somebody else, but if you're true to yourself and you don't lie to yourself, then that's where you need to be. It's easy to say, well, it was so-and-so's fault, or this did it, or that did it. But at the end of the day, folks, we all know deep down in our heart, most of the time the reason we fail is because of our own, it's our own fault. It's nobody else's. So we encourage you to take the time to try to align yourself with them kind of thoughts. And it's a continual process, right? It's not like, well, I did it once, so I'm good. No, it doesn't work that way, right? It's a continuous process because we all try to get manipulated by forces, big and small, good and evil. And there's so much to it that you need to be true to yourself to ever stand a chance of being successful and being honest. And I mean, isn't that what we're all after? Is get into the kingdom of God, really, or the kingdom of righteousness, right? So you can't do that unless you're true to yourself. So with all that said, we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Wish your family the best. Everybody travel safe, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving.